language tutorial number 8, where we're looking at prepositions. So what are prepositions exactly? Prepositions are a class of words which convey the relationship between components in the sentence. So looking at some examples from English, the relationship conveyed in theory can be any relationship. Probably the most common ones are spatial, expressing orientation in terms of space, or temporal, expressing orientation in terms of time. But let's have a look at some examples. Under, above, on, in, before, after, and some other relationships being conveyed, so by conveying agency, from conveying source. There's a lot of overlapping categories. It's not all cut and dried. With can convey an instrument, for example, with a pencil. When it's used commutatively, it's referring to accompaniment. So I go into the forest with my friend. So let's have a look at some examples in use. The dog under the chair. He ate the bread in the house. The party after the ceremony. The food from the forest. And with that, let's begin our foray into prepositions in Latropeth. So we'll begin with some spatial examples expressing space relationships. You'll find a more comprehensive list in the Latropeth grammar on the Melbocentrics WordPress site. This is not comprehensive. So punim, in front of, facing or by the edge of. Yemem, above or on a horizontal surface. Tumi, under. Kuyu, in, for example, a room. Lua, in a liquid. So for example, luaniu, in the water. Buabese, beyond, in terms of space, so beyond the park. And I've got in capitals and in parenthesis there that it's a postposition. That's basically just saying that this particular form comes after the component it's qualifying. So in some languages, postpositions predominate. In other languages, prepositions predominate. It's the same thing. It's just referring to how it's placed before or after the component that it's qualifying in terms of a frame of reference. Some examples in use in Latropeth. So punim, meaning in front of. So we've got amu suha yis punim nasu. You know from the previous video that amu is the first person singular personal pronoun prefix, meaning I. Suha yis, the verb to stand. So amu suha yis punim nasu. I stand in front of the river. And now we have an example expressing location with the verb wa yis. So we've got Tiewa yisarto yememboa. The stone is on the ground. Yememboa, so on the ground. Below the definition of the sentence there, the stone is on the ground, I have Tiewa yisarto yemboa, just to illustrate the fact that yemem in spoken Latropeth is usually contracted to yem, so more often than not it'll be Tiewa yisarto yemboa, yemboa, on the ground. So here we've got some temporal examples, and these are postpositions in Latropeth. So bahobese, after, bahole, come, before. And we have one example there, dipaya bahobese, after the gathering. So you can see that bahobese comes after dipaya. That's why it's called a postposition. Would translate into English as after the gathering, dipaya bahobese. Prepositions with an animate object. So prepositions followed by a noun that denotes a person or other living thing take endings identical to the forms that mark the direct object in a sentence when that object is a living thing. Kaya and mun. Now we have encountered kaya and mun previously as forms in isolation. So let's just look at some basic sentence examples that don't involve prepositions just as a refresher first. So you've seen this sentence before. Pite yika yis balum kuma. The boy sees the mountain. Verb, subject, object. Below that we have the boy sees the wolf. Pilayi keyis balum kaya yasa. Notice that the object prefix on the verb is different because we're talking about an object that is a wolf, a yasa that fits into noun class 4, the lahu animals. But also, note that yasa is preceded by the word kaya because the object is a living thing. Pilayi kayis balum kaya yasa. And finally, we have an honorific example using mun because we're talking about an elder. The elder is the object in this sentence, and an elder is exalted, so and basically fits into the honorific category. So we have the man sees the elder. Pi fayi kayis na komun malto. But notice most importantly that malto is preceded by mun. It's an object that's a living thing, but it's also honorific. How does this actually relate to prepositions? It relates to prepositions because these forms kaya and mun appear as endings or suffixes on the prepositions when the prepositions themselves are followed by a noun that is denoting a living thing, either generally or in terms of an honorific scenario. Because of this, the prepositions will have 3 forms, so non-animate, animate, and honorific animate. So you have punim in front of, punim kaya in front of animate, punimun in front of honorific animate. And below that, yemim, above or on a horizontal surface, so you get 3 forms yemim, yemim kaya, yemamun. And just to illustrate these, I stand in front of the river. You've already seen this one. Amusu hayis punim nasu. You've just got the basic form punim because a river is not a living thing. Then you've got amusu hayis punim kayatiwu. I stand in front of a friend or the friend or my friend, depending on the context. You could translate that in different ways, but the point is the friend is a living thing, and therefore the preposition in this preposition noun combination or prepositional phrase takes the form punim kaya. Punim kaya tivu, and below that we have amusu hayis punimun malto. I stand in front of the elder, and again the preposition is followed by a noun representing a living thing, and this is an honorific scenario, so that's reflected in the form. So it's amusu hayis punimun malto. I stand in front of the elder. Thanks for watching.